You spend time on your hair every single morning, and you still walk away feeling like it is aging you rather than lifting you. If that sounds familiar, you are exactly where you need to be right now. Let's fix that together, because your natural elegance deserves so much better than what most hairstylists are giving women over 80. I research worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women, so you get simple, proven transformations that work instantly. Today we're perfecting 5 haircuts that make women over 80 look instantly younger. And by part 3, you'll want to pause and look in the mirror. I mean it. We are covering everything from the one cut that frames your face like nothing else, to the shape that adds fullness where you need it most. Subscribe so you never miss a transformation like this. And the very first haircut? Most stylists are not even recommending it. Let's go. Have you ever left the salon feeling like something just did not quite land? Even though you cannot explain what went wrong? You asked for something fresh, something flattering, and what you got looks heavy, shapeless, and somehow older than what you walked in with. That experience is more common than you know, and it is not your fault. Most stylists are still cutting hair for women in their 60s, not their 80s, and there is a significant difference in what works. Here is the truth that changes everything about how your hair looks after 80. As you age, hair naturally loses density and elasticity, and any cut that adds weight without adding structure will drag your face downward and make your features look heavier than they are. That is what ages you. Not the silver, not the texture, the shape. And the soft layered bob corrects all of it in one appointment. The soft layered bob sits at jaw length or just below the chin, with internal layers cut throughout to remove bulk and allow natural movement. It does not lay flat against your head. It breathes. Those layers catch light differently, create the illusion of fullness, and this is the part nobody tells you. They lift the visual weight away from the lower half of your face. Your cheekbones red higher. Your eyes appear larger. Your whole face looks refreshed without a single change to your skincare routine. Honestly, the soft layered bob is the one I wish every woman over 80 had in her back pocket the moment she walked into any salon. If you have been wearing a blunt one-length cut, swap it for a jaw-length bob with internal soft layers. The difference is immediate and visible even in photographs. If your stylist is cutting every layer to the same length, ask specifically for graduation through the interior, so the ends have life and movement rather than weight. For maintenance, visit your stylist every 6 to 8 weeks to keep the shape from losing its lift. Even one trim mist can allow the layers to collapse into a single heavy line, and that line is what pulls your features downward. This one matters. Keep watching, because part 2 covers the cut that works like a facelift for bone structure, and you are going to want to hear this. Bold statement coming. The pixie cut is having a moment, and not the sharp angular version you might be imagining. The softened version of this cut, with a rounded crown and face-framing front pieces, is one of the most youth-boosting haircuts available to women over 80 right now. And I say that because I have watched it transform women's faces in real time. Here is why this particular cut works so differently from the harsh short styles you have been avoiding. After 80, the face naturally begins to lose the fuller roundness it held in earlier decades. The mid-face hollows slightly. The temples narrow. A cut with no volume at the crown emphasizes all of that by leaving the top of the head visually flat and unbalanced. That is what ages you. A soft crown with volume corrects the proportions entirely. The face-framing pixie with soft crown volume works by keeping length and fullness at the top and gently tapering through the back and sides. The front pieces are left slightly longer, enough to sweep toward the cheekbone or the brow. This framing draws the eye upward and inward, directly toward your eyes and bone structure. Your natural elegance comes forward. The eye goes straight to the best part of your face. There is one technique inside this cut that changes how your entire face reads on camera and in photographs. And it takes your stylist exactly 3 minutes to add. When the front pieces are point cut rather than blunt cut at the ends, they soften into the skin naturally instead of creating a hard line across the forehead or cheek. That softness is the difference between looking refreshed and looking like you just had a cut. If you are currently wearing a flat short crop with no movement at the top, swap it for a pixie with crown graduation and face-framing front sections. If your current stylist is not familiar with point cutting for fine silver hair, look for someone who specializes in mature hair. This one distinction matters enormously. Visit your stylist every 5 to 7 weeks to maintain the crown volume. Yes, that often. Because once the top collapses, the whole silhouette loses its lift and the aging effect returns within days. Part 3 is the one that made a friend of mine stop mid-conversation and ask what changed about my face. And it is not what you expect. Stay right here. You have probably heard the word shag and immediately pictured something from the 1970s. Here is what nobody is telling you. The modern textured shag has been completely reimagined. And for women over 80 with fine or thinning hair, it may be the single most flattering cut on this entire list. This one genuinely surprised me when I saw it on clients this age. Fine hair after 80 is one of the most common concerns I hear. And here is the specific truth that unlocks everything. When fine hair is cut bluntly without texture, it clings together and hangs as a single thin sheet. That single sheet makes your hair appear even thinner than it actually is, and it pulls attention to the flatness rather than the face. That is what ages you. Texture is what breaks that sheet apart and creates the visual impression of fullness that was never really gone. It was just hidden. The textured shag works by removing weight through the interior with curved or razor-cut layers, leaving the ends wispy and alive rather than solid and heavy. Curtain layers frame the face on both sides, beginning near the cheekbone and falling softly forward. This framing creates a natural border around your features that draws the eye inward, toward your eyes and your bone structure, rather than outward toward the perimeter of your hair. Honestly, the curtain layer detail in this cut is the thing nobody warns you about, in the best possible way. The moment those two face framing pieces settle into place, your whole face appears more symmetrical and open. It is genuinely that immediate. If you are currently wearing shoulder-length hair with no layers and no texture, swap it for a textured shag with curtain layers starting at cheekbone height. If your stylist is hesitant about the shag for your age, show them a reference photo of the modern version. The soft contemporary shag looks nothing like its predecessor. Maintenance is important with this cut. Ask for a light dusting of the ends every 6 weeks to keep the texture alive and prevent the layers from merging back into a single heavy line. Part 4 covers the cut that works especially well for women whose hair has thinned most at the crown. And the answer is not what most stylists reach for first. Do not skip this one. Let's talk about thinning at the crown. Because if this is something you are experiencing, this part was written specifically for you. Crown thinning after 80 is incredibly common and incredibly misunderstood. And the instinct most women have is to grow their hair longer to cover it. That instinct, as kind as it is to yourself, is the exact opposite of what actually helps. Here is the insight that reframes everything. Longer hair is heavier, and heavier hair pulls downward, which means it pulls away from the crown and makes thinning at the top more visible, not less. The weight of the length is working against you every single day you wear it. A short layered crop with a tapered nape removes that weight entirely, allows whatever density you have to stand up and fill out naturally, and gives your crown the lift it has been missing. That is what younger-looking hair actually looks like after 80. The short layered crop sits close to the head through the back and sides, with the nape tapered clean and refined. The crown layers are cut to graduate upward, creating natural height and fullness precisely where it is needed most. Your head appears fuller, rounder, and more balanced. The taper at the nape adds a clean polished finish that photographs beautifully from every angle. And here is the bonus nobody mentions. A clean nape makes the neck appear longer, and a longer neck is one of the most powerful visual signs of youth and elegance. I want to say something to you directly here, because this matters. If you have been covering your crown for years, I understand why, but your bone structure is stunning, and this cut will show that. It is time to work with your hair rather than against it. If you are currently growing your hair longer to hide crown thinning, swap it for a short layered crop with upward graduation at the crown and a clean tapered nape. If your previous stylist has been cutting the crown flat rather than lifting it, this single change will make a visible difference on your very first visit. Visit every 4 to 5 weeks for this cut. The taper grows out quickly, and maintaining that clean nape is what keeps the whole look refined rather than overgrown. Part 5 is the most unexpected haircut on this list, and it works in a way that no other style on this list can replicate. You will want to see this. The lob, the longer bob, might be the most misunderstood haircut for women over 80, And the reason is simple. Most people see it done wrong. Without the right internal structure, the lob is just long hair that has been trimmed. But with soft wave texture and face-framing highlights built into the cut, the lob becomes something entirely different. Something extraordinary. Here is the specific truth about the lob after 80. Hair that falls past the chin without internal texture tends to elongate the face in a way that adds visual age rather than subtracting it. That elongation is what ages you. The fix is not to cut it shorter. The fix is to build movement into the length itself through soft wave texture, and to use the highlights around the face to direct the eye toward your best features rather than toward the length of the hair. Face framing highlights on silver hair do not mean adding color that fights your natural tone. They mean using very subtle warm or cool tonal variation, the kind your colorist can weave through just the front sections, to create depth and dimension right where the eye first lands on your face. That dimension draws the gaze upward toward your eyes and cheekbones. It is the difference between hair that hangs and hair that glows. There is one detail inside this combination that changes how your entire face reads in every room you walk into. It takes your colorist fewer than 20 minutes, and it elevates everything. When the highlight placement hugs the hairline at the temple and follows the natural curve of your face, rather than being placed randomly through the mid-lengths, your face appears framed like a portrait. Every feature reads more defined. If you are wearing a flat straight lob with no movement or tonal variation, swap it for a soft wave lob with colorist-placed face-framing tonal pieces through the front sections only. If your lob currently drags the eye downward, this is the reason, and it is entirely fixable in one visit. Ask your stylist to refresh the wave texture every 8 to 10 weeks. The highlights can be touched up every 3 to 4 months. Between appointments, a warm tone silver shine treatment keeps the dimension looking fresh without a full color service. You now have 5 of the most powerful haircuts available to women over 80, and not a single one of them requires you to sacrifice elegance for practicality. You just learned 5 haircuts that are clinically designed to lift, frame, and refresh mature hair after 80. Cuts that most women spend years searching for and never find because nobody tells them this clearly. You came here for a transformation, and you got exactly that. Boom! Your bone structure was always this breathtaking. Now every single cut on this list will finally let it show. Tell me in the comments, which of these 5 haircuts are you taking to your stylist first, and which one surprised you the most? I want to know. Next time, we are uncovering the makeup mistakes that are quietly aging women over 80, and one of them is something almost every woman does every single morning without knowing it. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.